Hello and welcome to this video of the Laces of Ireland 2023 series. Today my guest is Rosie Finnegan-Bell from the South Armagh Lace Collective. Hi Rosie.
Hello Gabriella, how are you?
Tell us a little bit about your group. How and when did you start and what motivated you?
Well, I represent the South Armagh Lace Collective. We're based in the village of Cullaville in South Armagh, which is very much on the border between Northern Ireland and the Republic. And I suppose our group was formed in 2018. And we formed specifically because we were very aware of the fact that few people knew about South Armagh's connection to the Carrickmacross lace story, and to sort of showcase some of the real rich history we have here in this area. There's a 200-year-old tradition of lace making in this particular area, and it is predominantly within a 4-mile square radius. So it's a very concentrated location where the lace tradition began. So we're very, very proud of our lace making tradition, but few would know or connect us to the lace making tradition of Carrickmacross lace. And I suppose,
as far as I know, you had the first lace school there.
Yes, and I mean, I suppose that's what motivated us. We were sitting together, meeting weekly, making lace with our esteemed mentor and teacher, Mary McMahon, and we were kind of going, we're happy to meet every week and make lace amongst ourselves. But a few of us were thinking, you know, apart from ourselves and a few people within the locality, very few people would know of the lace tradition. And I suppose I've been collecting lace stories for about 15-20 years at this stage. I've always been very interested in local history, and I myself am a 4th generation lace maker, at least 4th generation that I know of. So I had been brought up on those stories about the lace making tradition. So very, very keen to share these invaluable women's stories, because as we all know, women have been virtually airbrushed out of our history until recent times as such. So myself and a few of my friends, Mary and Muriel, we felt we needed to do something to safeguard this practice, because it was in danger of dying out, and the story's been lost. And we are very fortunate amongst a lot of the groups on the island of Ireland. We have the stories of the women, so we don't have to track back and try and find the stories. The stories are there, so we wanted to shine a light on them.
Maybe it's time to show some Carrickmacross lace. So
yes.
This is a beautiful, beautiful piece. And can you tell us a little bit about how it's made? So your group is focusing on Carrickmacross lace.
Okay. Yeah.
And tell us a little bit about how it's made.
Carrickmacross lace is basically considered to be an applique style lace. So you have a pattern, you have a net foundation, and then you have the organdy that goes on top, and it's almost created as a sandwich, and then it is couched. The pattern is couched down with small needle point stitches, and then whenever you've completed following around the design with your small needle point stitches, you cut away the excess organdy to reveal parts of the net, and so you throw the design into relief by cutting away the excess organdy and cutting around it. And then the exposed net is then often decorated with either pop stitches, which are the little small pops, buttonholes pops, or decorative stitches. So they're very similar to embroidery stitches. And it's a very delicate, I suppose, Carrickmacross is the oldest of the needle laces in Ireland, and I suppose it found favour with the great and the good because it was very suitable to high fashion because it drapes very well, very similar to Limerick lace. It draped well, so it fitted I suppose the dress at the time.
And tell us a bit about this particular piece.
This particular piece, this is my daughter, Libby. I made this piece, probably my biggest undertaking, because I work part-time at the lace, so I don't always have time to sit at it. But this piece of lace was made for my daughter for her communion. And it was made with a lot of love. Took me quite some time to do it because I was coming back and forward to it. And I had a bit of help from the likes of Mary, who is our mentor locally. She's been making lace for a very long time. And so it was my first time to make a veil. And it's quite, I think there's something like 400 hours of work in it. So it's a substantial piece of work.
Tell us a little bit about what types of activities your group is organizing. How often do you meet? Do you do pop-up exhibitions? Do you do workshops for beginners?
We do a range of different things, and I suppose we're very keen to promote the lace tradition and the practice of making Carrickmacross lace. So yes, at the moment we've been a little bit quiet this last wee while, but we do offer day-long workshops, which are introductory experiences to Carrickmacross lace. We have offered classes on a 4-week basis, but we tend to find people prefer to have the 1-day workshop or 2-day workshops. It seems to be what the appetite is there for. And I suppose it's a great way of introducing it to our young people. Myself and Muriel run workshops, as we have run workshops in Killeavy Castle and also in another local cultural centre as well. So it's primarily myself and Muriel who run the workshops. But, you know, we've had real good backup support, a great team. We're small, but we're a mighty team, and we've lots of different ideas. We've done quite a number for International Lace Day, we've done a couple of Bring Your Lace Out events. We've done lace and afternoon tea. The two seem to go really well together. And in fact, the workshops we do in Killeavy Castle are always paired with afternoon tea, and that's a really lovely thing to do.
Lovely activity. Now I'm going to move to the next picture, which is that of the quilt, and I will ask you to tell us a little bit about past projects that you have.
That really drives us is the fact that we've such a rich heritage of lace making on the island of Ireland, and we're all of the different groups are aiming to showcase their particular practice, but there's a real strength in us coming together, to work together, to collaborate, to learn from each other, and to I think the security and the safe garden of the lace lies in us working together. And I suppose that's how we came about, and this is how you and I started having those conversations to begin with. So yes, it's kind of
2019
like,
we had the chance to travel and visit.
Yes, we worked with help of a grant from the Department of Culture, Heritage and the Gaeltacht, and that really sort of cemented our working with Limerick, the Friends of Lace in Limerick, and we were on the same wavelength and wanting to do the same kind of things. And it was lovely that particular time, because when we met with the other lace groups, there was a real appetite to work together, because we're working, you know, we've a lot to be proud of on this island, because yes, Ireland really does punch above its weight. So yes, I suppose
this quilt happened during the pandemic. Tell us a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, so we kind of thought when we were really getting into role, we started in 2018, And then we were really getting our feet under us and involved in a number of different projects with PRONI, Public Record Office of Northern Ireland, and different. And then we did this as part of an initiative with Boris Lace. And we did it all through the pandemic. It was done virtually. The connections were done virtually through Zoom and lots of other social media. It was quite a challenge for many of us. But we actually created this quilt. And Boris, we made 2 quilts. Boris and ourselves, we each have a quilt. We had 15 different women working on our quilt, producing a small piece of lace that represented why this lace practice was so important to us. And then one of the ladies from Boris actually donated a piece for our quilt. And similarly, that happened with the Boris quilt. I made a piece of lace for theirs. So it was meant to represent the connections between us. And the quilt, that actual project was called Common Threads.
Anything that you would like to tell us about plans and upcoming events?
We have, well, we're working behind the scenes with the Friends of Lace down in Limerick on a number of different initiatives. We are planning for to do some work with Northern Ireland Screen. So we have, they've been in touch with us because they have unearthed a number of different films from the 50s and 60s. And then some of the projects we've been involved in has been making short films. So we're going to have an open night or a screening night. So we're hoping to do that in September. Summer is always a bit more difficult because people are away and whatever. And so that is our plan. And then to start back with the workshops in October time.
Great. And can you tell us a little bit, where can people find you if they look for you online? How can they contact you?
I suppose the best way to get us, we have our Facebook page, the South Armagh Lace Collective. We also have our website, which is the South Armagh Lace Collective. And people were always open to the idea of people reaching out to us. We don't have actually a set base, or we operate out of the local community centre, but we're really keen, really keen to share our story and share the full and complete story of Carrickmacross Lace and how our area was so pivotal to that. So anybody who's interested in contacting us, please do. You can send me a message. I coordinate the Facebook page and the website, so you can always reach us or email us.
Fabulous. And I can vouch for this because I went up for one of their workshops and I did my first stitches in Carrickmacross Lace, and the group is extremely welcoming and nice. It's a pleasure to visit anytime.
Oh, thank you. That's so nice of you to say. We love having people visit us. We really love having people visit us. Now, our plans for the future is we're hoping to develop our own lace trail around a lot of the old cottages that we have a plethora of old cottages that were where I live was home to 5 generations of lace makers. The plan is to develop our own lace trail so that people can come and actually walk in the footsteps of the lace makers.
And listen to your stories. Fabulous. Thank you very much.